Coming up on Destiny City Rewind, we will take a look back at the first 10 years of the Tacoma Dome, the Lincoln Business District's Tet Chinese New Year celebration, the launch of the Toyota Tacoma pickup truck, a painting elephant at Point Defiance, and a Tacoma film studio that was built in the 1920s. First up is a compilation music video TV Tacoma produced in 1993 about the first decade of events held at the Tacoma Dome.
The Tacoma Dome is officially open.
All the world today knows that we are here and we are standing before
Each Lunar New Year, the Lincoln Business District hosts a spirited celebration. Here's a look at the Tet Chinese New Year's gathering from 1994.
If ringing in the new year is one of the highlights of your year, then why not celebrate again? The Tet Chinese New Year has been a part of Asian culture for centuries and is now a Tacoma tradition as well.
The Lincoln Business District is sort of unique in that if you look around, you'll see that there's a lot of Southeast Asian businesses that had moved into the area, and so just being able to celebrate a part of their culture and having the rest of the other businesses and the rest of the community support that has been just great for them.
This New Year's celebration is an incredible sight. With the dragon not simply parading through the district, but moving in an orchestrated rhythm.
It's quite a change, quite a job, because every drum you listen, there's some music. And in the music, the dragon listens to the music and dance.
According to Chinese beliefs, when the dragon dances and feasts at a business, it will bring prosperity in the upcoming year. Measuring by the crowds, the New Year's celebration itself could aid in the success of the local businesses.
Well, we're hoping that when you come out here and watch the dragon dance on a Saturday, you see the numbers of restaurants and unique shops we have down here. Perhaps on a Monday or a Tuesday, you'd come up and want to visit the restaurant or want to shop here. That's what we want. That's what we want people to do.
The all-new and really all-new 1995 and a half Toyota Tacoma.
30 years ago, Toyota released their first Toyota Tacoma pickup truck. The model was an instant success, and Tacoma Mayor Harold Moss was invited to speak at the kickoff.
The name Tacoma just seems to bring certain images to mind. The Tacoma Dome, the Narrows Bridge, Commencement Bay, Ruston Way, and pickup trucks? That's right, thanks to Toyota's choice of names for its newest product.
We selected Tacoma because research showed that it suggested the rugged outdoors, adventure, and strength.
While many manufacturers displayed their latest models at the recent Portland Auto Show, Toyota's introduction of the Tacoma was grabbing all the attention. In fact, there was just one thing, according to Mayor Moss, that could have made Toyota's announcement better.
But had this been at the Seattle Auto Show, don't you think I would have gotten even? Boy, oh boy, neener, neener, neener. We've got the Sonics and now we got the truck.
Manufacturers spend a great deal of time in research before giving a new product a name. But just what does it mean for a successful leading automaker like Toyota to name its newest truck after our city?
Naming of a truck after the city of Tacoma is one of great recognition. Automotive dealers can name their product anything they want to, and to be singled out for that honor is just great. The name Tacoma will go all over the world as this truck is imported, and certainly all over the United States, and it will be driven with great pride through downtown Seattle. I like that too.
And the mayor isn't the only one who's impressed by the Toyota Tacoma.
I think it'll give Toyota a lot of competition towards the other truck companies that are out there. And the looks of it are just, I think they're really fantastic, and I think it's a really sweet truck.
It's got a lot of nice real symmetry, it's real flowing, a more aggressive horsepower.
I think it's kind of a neat looking truck. It's like the kind of front end's kind of a little bit different there. I think it kind of like the front fenders and the rear kind of looks kind of neat.
In many ways, there seem to be similarities between the way people feel about the Toyota Tacoma pickup and the way we feel about Tacoma as a city.
I think so. There's an enormous pride about where we're going in Tacoma. And this is just another recognition that people outside of our area see us as a very progressive city, a city on the move, a city worth naming our product after.
Out of all the possible names it could have received, this truck will carry our city's name internationally. What more could be said than, oh, what a feeling?
Now let's travel to 1996 and check out the Point Defiance painting packeter.
Come on, Sin, let's go. We've got work to do. Good girl, pick it up. Good girl, brush it.
No, your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. That's an elephant with a paintbrush. And her artwork is expected to raise money and heighten awareness about the plight of elephants in Africa and Asia. The idea came from artist John Banovich to partner with Cindy in creating the work.
It started when one of the elephant experts at the Point Defiance Zoo, Sally, informed me that they had an elephant that was a painter. And so I thought, what a great spokesperson this elephant would be. And if I were to incorporate my talents along with hers, that we would be able to use something to benefit the elephant program at the Point Defiance Zoo. And I think that good programs should be supported through things like this.
Cindy developed her artistic talents as zookeepers explored new animal husbandry techniques with her. While this type of behavior conditioning is generally rewarded with treats like apples and carrots, Cindy seems to simply enjoy the opportunity to express herself.
But when she's painting, it doesn't seem to be as motivated with the food, because I'll click and tell her to back off, and if she's not done, she'll just keep painting until she's done and tosses the paintbrush. When we were first training it, getting the paintbrush back was the real challenge, because we didn't train the give it to us first. We trained the paint part first, and then she pretty much said, yeah, now I've got all the paintbrushes. What are you guys gonna do, you know?
Working from a background created by Cindy's freeform style, John Banovich will add elements that tell the story of the elephant.
I struggled with which direction to approach it with. The strongest vision was to me that it was kind of telling the story of elephants past, present, and future. And I kind of envisioned this old African man sitting around a campfire telling about in the old days how it was, which symbolizes the large African bull.
The story he tells is of once prolific herds that are now quickly vanishing. He tells of poaching. And perhaps most importantly, the bull stands out bold and strong as if a symbol of why we must fight to save these majestic creatures.
I think we have a dire situation on our hands with what's occurring with the elephants. And that really leads to a very uncertain future. So for me, the animals have given so much to me. I mean, that's what I've devoted my life to do, is to paint animals. And if I can give a little bit back in some fashion, then I feel that I'm paying them the ultimate tribute. One of the biggest challenges I faced with this piece was really not what to put in, but what to leave out. And so it was important for me to put in exactly what should be put in and not anything more. And so I loosened up my style. I'm normally much tighter than this, but this is normally what I would call blocking in phase. This is the very first phase I would do in taking one of my normal canvases and bringing it to completion. And so it was a constant struggle for me to restrain from going in tighter, but always keep it loose, because I had to remember an elephant had painted the whole background. So I had to make sure that that was never subdued, that was equally as important as all of the stuff that I had placed in the canvas.
Banovich is creating the piece to be sold at a Safari Club auction in Las Vegas, with the proceeds of the sale benefiting both the Safari Club and Defiance Zoo and Aquarium.
What that symbolizes to me is you're bringing two opposing groups. You're bringing the sportsman, hunter on one side, you're bringing the environmentalist, conservationist on the other side, together for a common goal. And that's what I originally called this project, is Common Ground. I love elephants. I've always loved elephants. And I think it was just such a great opportunity for me to be able to actually paint with one of my subjects. That is almost unheard of from a wildlife artist standpoint. But also, I'd like to bring to light something positive, in the sense that this is a piece of art that we're bringing to the public view, so that it represents the plight of elephants, but brings it in an art fashion, meaning there's a positive medium that's used to communicate that.
Tacoma has been a filming location for many movies over the years, including 1990's I Love You to Death and 1999's 10 Things I Hate About You. But did you know that in the 1920s a full film studio was built on Titlow Beach Road? 3 films were produced there and thought to be lost to time. But in the mid-2010s, a print of one was discovered, restored, and screened at the Rialto Theater.
Well, H.C. Weaver was an independent movie producer who had the great idea of making independent films in Tacoma, Washington during the 20s. Once the studio was built on this 5-acre parcel at Titlow Beach Road, 1600 Titlow Beach Road, as a matter of fact, there was also some adjoining bungalows built. The hotel that was across the street, which we call the Lodge now at Titlow Beach, was actually a hotel at that time. It was like capitalization. Okay, let's capitalize on this film studio being here. And they actually drew up a plan, and we have some drawings of that, of Hollywood by the Sea. And it was no doubt going to be envisioned as the Northwest Hollywood. And why wouldn't it be, right?
Silent film was a rage. There were many other cities in the United States that were also looking to start up a film production studios, And Tacoma was unique in that they had a successful one.
Talking to local historians and museums, they said that Tacoma had a film studio in the 1920s down by Titlow Beach that filmed 3 films, and they were all lost since the 1920s. And a lot of research had been done, but no one had ever been able to track them down. So I started researching under the director's name and found out that Eyes of the Totem still existed at the Museum of Modern Art in New York City.
We now think that probably 1 out of maybe 10 of the thousands of silent films that were made actually survive and are viewable today. So when something like this comes along, where it's discovered that a fragment or some bit and you can view it again, it really is something to celebrate. And then when the extraordinary thing happens and you have the opportunity to see an entire feature film, to see the entire work of the artist of their day, it really is amazing. It was a core of people in the community that are already one way or another involved either in history or involved in film as an art form. And so the Team Tacoma, the group that have kind of been working on this, is sort of a balance between historians, kind of academic historians, and then people from our film community and our film history community.
Films at the time were hand cranked, the cameras were hand cranked, and as a result, anytime a film was made, there would be a variation in speed, not only because of who was cranking it, but also how they were being directed and told what to do. So as a result, there's a lot of variation in silent film in terms of frame rate. And when we watched the film the first time, a number of us were a bit concerned about the frame rate that we saw it being displayed, which was at 24 frames per second. Since we're the ones showing the film, we're kind of like the projectionist of old. We have the opportunity to slow the projector down or speed it up because the film's in our hands and we're showing it, and the director's not here to tell us what speed. So we came to the conclusion that this film was probably best viewed at about 19 frames per second, which is, I think, what the cameraman probably cranked it at.
The main restoration, it should be noted, is more of a musical restoration. So it's more about finding a time code to set in place so a composer can write an original score for it.
Well, film music is a very interesting topic. Because of technology, music was being performed live through the late 20s and a little bit into the early 30s. And that's the era that this movie is in. But even in that period, if you study film music from the late 19th century, the 1890s through the end of the 20s, even that was a period of immense growth in the way that scores were treated and performed. If there was original score for this movie, it has not survived, to my knowledge, and that would be typical. My guess is that it was left to the discretion of each theater. And so what would happen in the silence back then is, say for what I'm calling Miriam's theme, Miriam is the female lead in the movie, the cue sheet might have said lament. And so then the performer or performers would just choose, hey Harry, let's do that number 27 lament. I really like that. And there you go, there's your answer. So there really is no score. The movie industry was evolving very rapidly, even through the 20s. Scores were starting to become more affixed to the movie than they were earlier. It was changing really rapidly. So it is possible that a theme might have been played by a 30-piece orchestra, say for a particular movie, on maybe a 30-piece orchestra, and then in a smaller city, the same theme would be performed as a piano reduction. That was starting to happen too. But the whole industry changed when talkies came in. I find myself, as I've gotten very familiar with it, and I need to be, is I've seen things, I know what W.S. Van Dyke is after here, and I'll look at maybe something that's in minute 12 of the movie, and I'll immediately think, wait a minute, I need to go back to minute 37, and I need to watch that again. I want to watch these both back to back. And I found myself pulling up double copies and watching back to back, boom, boom, boom. So it's that kind of becoming as intimate with the story as I could possibly pull off. I think we've really seen some artistic liberties being taken with silent films in the last, say, 10 years, just to pick something. It's not, to quote a friend of mine, they're not being treated like museum pieces. They're being treated as living art for us to enjoy today, but to be appropriate. Now that's subjective, but to be appropriate. So the how is very varied. It's understanding, having a good sense and respect of music history, but I also want to tell the story from the director's point of view for a modern audience. And I'm trying to achieve both those things.
Well, this movie is really a historic artifact because it shows some great historic areas in the city of Tacoma, such as Pacific Avenue, the Winthrop Hotel, Annie Wright, all along Pacific, and some of the Titlow Beach area.
It's a unique historical document that just gives us this amazing experience of sitting in a theater and watching our city that we recognize go before our eyes, moving with people and streetcars and everything 80 years before. There can't be more than a handful of people in Tacoma that ever saw that site during their lifetime that are still alive today, and there we are looking at it. So just amazing experience.
It's pretty exciting to know that the icon of the film is still here and available for our ogling and respect. It is an exciting window into the past, and done professionally. It's a quality film. It's a fun story, you know, as far as melodramas go, and it's got an action-packed ending with romance.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
great for the whole family.